You got for me.
Okay, so sorry, we were raised. It's four of us, so it's on my mom's side anyway. So
Hmm.
we were raised with just one parent,
Okay.
and I'm third in that order.
Okay.
So like, but all of us are like back to back though. So my oldest sister is 3 years older than me. Second oldest sister is 2 years older than me, and I'm 2 years older than my youngest sister.
So it's four daughters.
Hmm. Yeah. So she,
Okay, go ahead.
so yeah, she was a single parent
Hmm.
up until I was in fifth grade. Sorry.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, up until that point, we were raised by my sister, right?
Hmm.
We didn't have a lot of money. So there were a lot of nights that we were hungry. I mean, it's just a lot of things that my family doesn't even know about, like what we struggled with, because there was a lot of things that happened in that house that my mom would always say, like, what happens in this house stays in this
What
house.
happens in this house stays in this house, right?
But when she decided to get married, she married somebody that she barely knew. And he was younger than her, probably about 10 years younger than her. I can't remember. But he, yes. And she stayed married to him for 10 years. So um, after, and she knew about all of it, knew about it. Like we would tell her, like, these things were happening. And she would say things like she's going to talk to him, never anything like legal action or whatever. So when I got to 12th grade, um, I was fed up. I graduated high school. I was fed up. It was the summer of after I graduated, and I basically was waiting to get into the military because that was basically my way out um,
Hmm.
from all of this. But he had touched my little sister, and basically that was the last straw for me. So I had called my mother and I told her, I said, "You got an option. I'm going to call the cops, or you're going to call them." Like, and
Hmm.
the cops were called. And they took him for a little bit, but he came back because, like, um, if you don't have a lot of
First
proof,
time offense. Yep.
right?
Hmm.
So he came back, and there was like a huge argument and things like that, and ended in like me grabbing a knife, things like that. So he basically ran out of the house. I went to my aunt's house and I stayed there to cool down or whatever. But even after that, it was kind of like a long time before she decided to divorce him.
Okay.
But
So
till
they're
this
they're
day, that was
divorced.
10 years ago.
They're divorced
Yep,
now.
they're divorced.
And your younger sister, where is she?
She's So she went to the army, but she's out now. She's married. She's still in Savannah. I'm in Atlanta now, but we're from
Okay.
Savannah. Um,
Um, and your younger sister's married. About your two older sisters.
my oldest sister is married. My second oldest sister is not, and I'm not.
Okay. Um, have you guys ever had any counseling or therapy between your sisters?
I did. I went when I went to the Air Force. I decided to bring that up
Okay.
um, because it's a lot of things I still struggle with.
What
But
what I'm asking is individually, because
I
did he molest all of you?
he did. My oldest sister didn't get much of it because
Right.
he put her out of the house. So
Most likely to defend herself. Um, so what is your relationship like with your mother today?
I literally just recently removed her from my life. And it's only because you can't have a conversation with her to tell the truth about how damaged mentally how much damage that caused for us mentally till this day. And the fact that that was 10 years ago and it still bothers us, like, that's not a conversation that she can
Well,
handle.
she can't. Well, I mean, and I'm not going to make any excuses for it, but the first person is the person I'm talking to now. Intensive therapy for all this trauma. I mean, individually and group, because your siblings are one thing. Your mother, if you say you went to your mother and she didn't do anything about it, That happens uh, far more often than people want to admit. And
Right.
but what she's carrying, her guilt, her trauma, you can't change that. You certainly can't make her talk about it. But in order to go forward and have any semblance of a healthy life, I would say that that's something that needs to be priority for you. And if your sisters are married and gone on, they still need to talk to people as well, because that's not something that just goes away.
Most definitely.
Um, that's different than sister daughter. Um, yeah, that's different than sister daughter. Um, because well, it's just different, different whole scenario. Um, and you said you just cut your mother off about how long ago?
That was last month.
How old is she?
She's 53.
Okay, well, she's gonna be around for a little bit. Um, but the person I'm talking to right now, I'm more concerned that you learn how to heal from this trauma. Um, and that's outside of my scope of expertise. This is when I start referring people to psychiatrists and psychologists. But when trauma is there, it needs to be addressed. We can't we can't alpha our way through it. We can't blood and guts our way through it. We can't pray our way through it. We can't Jesus our way through it. We got to sit down and get on somebody. We got to do the work.
Right.
So, sorry that happened to you and your sisters, but you know, and I'll say this, that once you are in a better place or you're starting to do the work, you may look at the situation differently with your mother. And I'm not saying, you know, you guys will ever have a normal relationship, but you may be able to understand that she's got some traumas and things going on with her right now, but you got to fix you. You got to fix you. You got to worry about you before you can worry about anybody else. And if something else happens on down the road, let that happen on down the road, but prioritize your health, your
Right.
mental health immediately. Can't
Right.
wait.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, so I get seen, but the thing is, we had a healthy relationship. It was years and years of trying to pray to God to forgive her, and I feel like that allowed
When you say we had a healthy relationship,
my
who?
mom
Before the molestation or after?
after, because definitely like during it, I definitely hated her.
I don't think it's going to be possible to have a healthy relationship after molestation prior to any real healing.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, I tried to
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
try to like forgive her. I wouldn't call
yeah.
it healthy, but
Yeah, it's survival. That's what I'm saying. See, and that's the one thing we got to stop doing in the Black community. We got to stop living in survival mode and and get to the heal mode. It's kind of like this is a bad analogy. I'm not trying to minimize the situation, but it's like having a flat tire and then putting on a donut and then trying to drive full speed. Yeah, you can get down the road, but you're not going to be able to do the things you need to do. And because I do have respect for the process and what goes on here, I'm going to go ahead and end this now and definitely recommend therapy. Are you still in the military?
no, I'm medically retired.
Okay. Well, you're here in Atlanta. I would definitely, uh, well, Google is your friend, but most clinicians offer free initial consultation. Bring you in, sit down with somebody who you feel like you could be comfortable with, and get in there and do the work. Because that's what's going to be required, doing the work. Because you don't want this to pop up in some sort of compulsive behavior, addiction, or anything like that. Because we can't just stuff this stuff down and act like it didn't happen. So, have a good day, man.
Me too.
Bye bye. Trauma focused therapy for all sisters of support healing. Yeah, I knew this. I knew this sister daughter thing was going to be. I knew this sister daughter thing was going to be tight because it touches a lot of folks. Let's see right here.